season opener, and Cleveland was right back out on the practice field this morning. So is it perfect timing for Sanders? He got the start against the Panthers on Friday, playing into the third quarter. Sanders' final numbers, 14 of 23 for 138 yards with 2 touchdowns and no picks. And now that begs the question, how will the Browns handle their quarterback situation this week? New on SportsCenter, Kevin Stefanski talked about the state of his quarterbacks ahead of today's practice.
Dylan can do some 11 on 11. Obviously, we're still mindful of his tightness in the hamstring. Kenny, not just yet 11 on 11, but both guys progressing well. I'm not there on the game itself. By Wednesday, Thursday, I'll have a better feel for the game and how we're going to handle that. I'm not going to get into reps. We're going to continue to mix these guys, and we are trying to be very intentional about our quarterback's development, and I'm really pleased with where both our young guys are, and I could say that about our entire rookie class. They're all working very hard. They're all taking coaching and understanding that this is a progression for them.
All right, Dan Graziano and Sam Acho are here to talk a little bit more about this. Dan, what are you hearing about how Shedeur's performance against the Panthers is impacting his status going forward?
Yeah, it's a positive data point, Christine. Obviously, there are quarterbacks that kind of do better when the lights come on, and it's a game situation. And if the Browns wondered that about Shedeur Sanders, then this past weekend answered it in a positive way. So you hear Kevin Stefanski talking about the quarterback depth chart there. He's being asked about it. He's talking about progression for the rookies, Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders got this opportunity because of injuries to Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett, who have both been ahead of him on the depth chart this offseason. Today, they have practice. According to the reporters that are there, Joe Flacco got the reps with the starters, and Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders kind of rotated reps with the second and third team, while Kenny Pickett is still working his way back from his injury. So what's there is opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to move up, to convince the Browns that maybe he is worthy of a number 2 spot or a number 3 spot if Joe Flacco projects as the starter. But it's all part of what they're seeing in practice, what they're seeing and hearing from him in the meeting rooms, and yes, of course, what he did on that big stage the other day in the game situation.
Yeah, we know Shedeur has definitely been waiting for that moment. Sam, what stood out to you about his preseason debut?
Shedeur Sanders looked like a veteran. He did not look like a rookie quarterback. What stood out to me was his presence not only in the pocket, but outside of the pocket. There was a play in the game, his first touchdown, where he rolled out to his left, a throw on the run, layered the ball over a defender in the end zone for a touchdown. That's a veteran type of play. The ball jumped off of the screen. You don't see that from rookies normally. Now, there were a couple rookie mistakes, but that's not what stood out to me. What stood out to me was the fact that he used his legs, not just on that play, other plays of him escaping in the pocket. He wasn't known to be a scrambling type of quarterback, but he does have that in his arsenal.
Acho, we just heard Dan break down kind of how the depth chart has been shaking out. Do you think that Shedeur can build off of this and climb up the depth chart before the season starts?
Without a doubt, I think Shedeur could be the number 2 quarterback by the time the preseason ends. This is just one of maybe 30 different data points. 3 preseason games are bigger data points, but they are data points. You look at practices, the film room, meeting, how does somebody conduct themselves? But more than anything, it's how you perform on Sundays, or in this case, Saturdays. Game days matter, and Shedeur Sanders is playing. Other quarterbacks aren't, whether because of injury or otherwise. That's why he has a huge opportunity to be the number 2 quarterback on this roster. I think Joe Flacco is likely going to be the starter, but if Shedeur keeps on playing the way he plays, he'll be number 2.
I don't think there's any doubt Cleveland's open to anything when it comes to this quarterback competition. They've been looking for the answer at the quarterback position for a quarter of a century now. If Shedeur Sanders continues to show those positive data points, then he has absolutely every opportunity to keep moving up and maybe at some point this season get a shot to be the starter in a regular season game.
Yeah, it's been our favorite story of the offseason, trying to figure out what exactly the Browns were going to do at quarterback, so we'll see how that shakes out. Dan, Sam, thanks.
That was made this weekend by Shedeur Sanders. He has earned the right to take more meaningful reps this week and play next week. And he did it by making throws like this. This is an NFL throw. It's a layered throw in a tight window. It's exactly what we saw in Colorado. Again, Mel Kiper amongst others. We liked them. Surprised they won the 5th round. And what's great about what I saw was all the pre-snap information he handled well. That means he was prepared, he's been studying, and that's the sign of a really good pro.
And isn't that exactly the sort of thing that people said he was good at coming into or coming out of college and coming into the NFL? That's the thing about this evaluation process that I find so frustrating. We've decided, the entire league has decided, we need to find the next Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to go find someone who makes the off-platform throw and can be running this way and throw it back across the other side.
But that stuff matters,
All
though,
that
Greeny. To be great,
if that's what you do well and you can't do the stuff that he does well, then you can't play quarterback in the NFL. We've seen too many guys who do that. Those things have to be like the side dish. That has to be the potatoes and the green beans.
Sure.
The steak has got to be all the stuff that this guy does well.
totally. And that's why, like, you were encouraged with what you saw in college and why late first round, early second round pick. And then you watched it in the game, you go, that's what it looked like. That's where you have to be so encouraged. I thought he played really fast. I love this clip on third down. 5-man protection. He's going to tell his receiver, you're good, meaning no blitz issues. The safeties are going to rotate. Shedeur has to hold that safety at the top of the screen for a fraction of a second, and then the ball has to come out right now because that window is going to condense with that drop-down safety. If he's a little bit later, that's an interception. It's a tipped ball. Receiver's going to the hospital. This is backed up in his own end zone. Again, tells his receiver, you're good. Don't worry about any blitz. It allows them to play faster so he knows what's going on. Sees the safety rotation. He's got a little bit of shuffle in the pocket, and then that ball's coming out. The defender is underneath the receiver, corner-wise, safety over the top. That's a dangerous throw. It's a courageous throw. He drills it right in that in-breaking route. And then the second touchdown is my favorite. He's got a shuffle in the pocket, and he has to see a double post. He sees the safety take the inside post. The outside post is the throw. I love how quick it happens, and then it remains a passer. There were times in school, more often than not, I would argue, that he would run around and try to do something that athletically I would say that's not necessarily the strength of your game. So that last clip to me tells me there's a development, an evolution. I thought he was fantastic. I totally agree. He should get meaningful, if not starting reps this week.
A few things. First of all, he passed the eye test. When you watched him on Friday night, you felt like you were watching an NFL quarterback. Now, today, they are out on the practice field right now. And the reason that Shedeur was out there on Friday night to begin with as long as he was is because Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel have been battling hamstring injuries. Both players, Pickett and Dillon Gabriel, are on the practice field today. Kevin Stefanski moments ago said he has not decided yet how the reps will go this week in the second preseason game, and he even said that he may not be prepared to name a starting quarterback after the second week of the preseason. The more indecision that's there, the more that tells you that all options are on the table, but they clearly had to see something from Shedeur on Friday night that I think opened up everybody's eyes. There are a lot of people like Mel Kiper who said this was what we expected to see. But I think the way he played, as effective as he was, as strong as he looked, has to make everybody reconsider things and say this guy's got a chance to play sooner than some people realize.
Yeah, and nothing makes you healthier than when you see your competitor play as well as you did. So also in Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel feeling a little bit better. But look, if we were running the Browns guys, Kenny Pickett's on his third team in 3 years, and I think we know where the ceiling is with him. I think Shedeur